What's good, YouTube? We back with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I use the glue compressor to compress all of my drum sounds. But before we get into anything, I just want to let you know that all of these one-shots are going to be from my drum pack, Nostalgia Volume 1. So if you're interested in that, the link will be down below. So first things first, we have our one-shots. And this is the drum pattern that we're going to be working with. Real simple, nothing crazy. A little bit of swing, nothing crazy. But we're really gonna try to tighten up this drum pattern and make it sound a lot more clean, punchy, and controlled. All right, so let's grab a glue compressor over to the kick drum. And first things first, we're gonna go ahead and activate soft clipping. Let's solo out this kick drum and see how it sounds by itself. And while it's playing, we're gonna actually lower the threshold and aim for about anywhere between 5 to 10 decibels of gain reduction. So on the loudest hits, we're gonna hit anywhere between 5 to 10, which is perfect. Now we're gonna go ahead and adjust the attack time. I'm usually rocking anywhere from 3 to 30 milliseconds. Having a long attack time like that really allows for my kick drum to pass through the compressor and retain a lot of its punch. But moving on, we're gonna go ahead and actually reduce the release time to about 20 milliseconds just to add a lot of character to the drum sound, okay? So if we have this release time take it too long, everything's gonna just it's gonna mud together, all right? So the gain reduction is gonna bleed into the next kick hit and it's not gonna be as loud. So we're just gonna go ahead and just really make sure that release releases quickly. Up next, we have the ratio, okay? So with the ratio, we can increase it for more color with the compressor, but we can also reduce the ratio for more punch in the compressor, all right? So use that how you want. You can either increase it, decrease it, or you can leave it the same. For this, we're gonna just leave it at 4. We don't need to mess with that right now. So now let's go ahead and listen. All right, so we're not getting that gain reduction yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower the threshold just a little bit more. And that looks to be good. That's a lot better. So as you use the compressor, you might have to go back and rechange a few of the parameters that you changed. That's just how it is when you're compressing, because everything kind of works together, you feel me? So now we have everything compressed. We're gonna go ahead and make up for the gain reduction because now the kick drum is quieter. So let's go ahead and play this and just turn the compressor on and off until we match that volume. Okay, so this is the original volume. And this is compressed, so let's go ahead and add some makeup. 3 decibels. 3 decibels sound good. Let's see how 4 sounds. 4 sounds pretty much the same. So now that sounds good, we can also play with the dry wet just to see if, you know, the compressor sounds good when it's activated 50%, 70%, 100, so on and so forth. So let's see how that sounds. Around 80 sounds good, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Now we're gonna go on to the next one shot, and that's the snare drum. All right, so for the snare drum, same thing. We're gonna go ahead and activate soft clipping and reduce that threshold until we're getting about 5 decibels of gain reduction this time. Okay, there we go, we're at 5. Let's set the attack time to 0.3, so 30 milliseconds. All right, so this snare drum's pretty snappy, and drums that sound very crispy, snappy, they can pierce through the mix a lot. So we're gonna actually reduce the attack time to about 0.3. Remember, the lower the attack time, the quicker that compressor activates and that gain reduction squashes that sound. The longer the attack time, the more time that sound has to pass through the compressor and bleed through and have that punchy, crispy, or snappy sound. So 0.3 sounds good. For the release, we can leave it around 6.6 milliseconds of release time. Ratio, I like the way it sounds with ratio at 10, so we're gonna leave it at that. And now we have everything affected. We're gonna go ahead and make up that loss of volume. So let's go ahead and turn the compressor off, see how it sounds. Okay, See if we can match that. All right, and it sounds about the same. Just like the last time, you can affect the dry wet to, see how much of the compressor you want to be active. We're gonna leave it at 100% because I don't want this video to be too long. But moving on to the hi-hat. Hi-hats are similar to snares, okay? They can really bleed through a mix, especially if those hi-hats are super crispy and have a lot of high frequencies. It can really bleed through the mix and really make your ears hurt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lower the threshold to about, I would say like the halfway point between 0 and 5 decibels of gain reduction. All right, that seems good. It's hitting in between those two. Let's go ahead and lower the attack time. We don't want those hi-hats to be too crispy. These ones aren't too bad. We're gonna go ahead and set the release to 0.2 milliseconds for a quick release. We don't have to mess with the ratio. And all we have to do now is just match the volume. It's really important to make sure that you match the volume of your sounds after you compress it, because this is where you hear the effects of the compressor. And if you compress something that's actually louder than what it was originally, well, now you just think it sounds better because it's louder instead of actually hearing the effect of the compressor. So it's really important to make sure that you gain stage and make sure that the volumes are matching the same volume level it was. You can use Ableton's little meters right here, or you can do it by ear, whatever you want. But up next, after that, after we have all our one shots compressed, we need to make those one shots pretty much work together, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another glue compressor, the last glue compressor, and we can either use glue compression or parallel compression. So for this tutorial, we're gonna use parallel compression. I don't really use glue compression at this stage of the mix, so I don't wanna tell you guys to use that right now, but we are gonna use parallel compression, okay? So we're gonna lower the threshold all the way, max out the makeup, activate soft clipping. We're gonna max out the attack time, max out the release time. Make sure it's not on auto though. And then we're gonna actually increase the ratio. But let's go ahead and listen to how it sounds with this parallel compressor on and affect the dry wet until we get a sound that sounds appropriate, clean, and to your liking, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm feeling it at 31%. So this is pretty much what I do when I want to compress my drums. Sometimes I use glue compressors, sometimes I use plugins, sometimes I use the regular compressor on Ableton. The only reason why I use glue compressors for this tutorial is because I feel like glue compressors have a unique sound, and I personally feel like they sound better than the regular compressor on Ableton, especially with this soft clipping feature. So with that being said, make sure that you're compressing all your one shots. Make sure that you're actually compressing them together so that they can actually fit together and work together. And make sure that you're gain staging your sounds, because you don't want stuff to be out of whack, and you don't want to think it sounds better just because it's louder. You want it to actually sound better because that compressor is working. That being said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you check out my other tutorials as well. And if you guys want to see a video on how I use the drum bus, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll get that out for you guys sometime this week. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace out.